G'day everybody, Farmer Wade here for Billboard Battalion. Today is Thursday the 6th of November 2025 and we're coming to you live from Parliament House in Canberra, which has turned out to be basically a joint where a whole heap of terrorists hang out and they make laws that are designed to wipe out Australians, to kill Australians and their families. This is serious stuff. I just wanted to talk about yesterday when we saw come before the Senate a thing that was called the Centre for Disease Control. That has now been passed by the Senate, and this is a absolute disaster. And we wanted to start to have a look. Last night I did a live, and I brought you some of the names of the traders or the senators who voted in favour of the CDC bill. So there's a question that we need to ask here. On the vote of the most important piece of legislation that, well, I think quite probably we've ever seen. The most dangerous and devastating piece of legislation that basically gives foreign hostile organisations the power to take out your families and our country. There's 76 senators that make up the Senate, and they come from a different variety of parties and a handful of people who come from independents. So the question, of course, is the vote yesterday was 34 in favour of this CDC death bill, this massacre of Australians, and 22 against. So that equals 56. The question, of course, is where were the other 20? There's another 20 senators in the Australian Senate. And if they'd have turned up and voted against this thing, then Australia would be a million times safer. Now, these people are elected to Parliament by the people of their electorates, and they're paid by the taxpayers. So when we've seen a terrorist organisation introduce bills into the Australian Parliament and vote on them, we want to know if there's a 12-vote difference. The thing got across the line by 12 votes, and there were 20 senators who were not in the chamber at the time when that vote was happening. Then where the hell were they, and why were they not there? Because this is so serious. This is so incredibly dangerous. And what we need to see now is these people explain exactly why they were not there to save Australia. Why? Because they were absent. We're going to see enormous death tallies now, death counts in our country. We're going to see the WHO, the United Nations and the WF take control of Australia and destroy it. This is an invasion and a war. This is what's happening, and they should have been here to protect our country. This is as big as it gets. There's nothing any bigger than this. So we need answers. So we're going to do everything we can on Billboard Battalion to chase these answers up, because we need to hold these people to account. We need to let them know that when Parliament is sitting, they need to be in it, because here's a bit of a news flash. That's where the votes occur. That's where legislation is voted on. So in order to vote, you must be there. So I think that a whole heap of senators owe Australia a massive big explanation as to what the hell they were doing and why they weren't here when this most crucial vote was happening. The vote to give foreign powers literally the power to murder Australians and to use everything in Australia to do it. This is sick stuff. This is so sick. This is so dangerous. Now, we will keep on this case and we will track down this data and we will then bring it to the Australian people, because I'm here to tell you this is a full-scale assault, a military assault on our country. It just looks different. And it is now time for the Australian people as a collective to flex their muscles, to say we are going to go into battle using the processes that exist. I'm not talking about with guns and all that stuff. We're talking about using the processes that exist. And this is going to be a massive, massive undertaking. But this is all or nothing. It is do or die right now. So we have to go for it. We have stuffed around so long. Many, many years we've been mucking around and allowing these people to put this stuff in place. Well, it's crunch time right now. And anybody who doesn't support the things that I'm saying and is not prepared to help, then you're not Australian. Get the hell out of the country. Go somewhere else. Because you don't deserve what this great country has to offer. And the people that are organising to destroy you and your families, you will soon work out you should have got in this fight. You should have got in this battle. You should defend the lives of your country and your people, your families. So I want to look at the second part of something that's very, very dangerous, a bill that's going to come up very soon. And this is a bill that, once again, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations and the World Health Organization want to get across the line to kill more Australians, destroy more industry, farmers, food production, lock you down, take all your property off you, and basically put you in a position where they can just run you into the crush and execute you at any time they want. And this is the Environmental Protection Agency bill, what they call a National Environmental Protection Agency. Now this is the other half, or the other 1/3 of what they need to attack us. This is so dangerous. This is along the same kind of vein as the CDC. Now this is going to come up at some point in the very near future. And I'm telling you right now, we need the Australian people to pull together and force many of these maggoty, filthy, stinking politicians not to support this. So these filth bags in the Labor Party, Albanese, Butler, Wong, and a whole heap of these other Burke, these other filthy scum, are going to try and bring this and rush it through. So we need to be ready for this. This is where Australia, you stand together right now, or you prepare to make your arrangements. If you believe in God or whatever, then you prepare to meet your maker, because these people are organising that for you. You will not live much longer. So this is where one of the things that we'll be taking on, one of the strategies Billboard Battalion will be taking on. We've got a number of things that we're going to be doing. The next sitting of Parliament is a month away, 3 weeks or whatever it is actually. So we need to be ready to go. We need to be ready to, that's amazing, even the bus drivers are giving us toots as they're going past. Incredible. It's amazing here actually in Canberra how so many people are now switching on to what we're talking about. So many people in Canberra are starting to give us a nod, say g'day, say yes, we support what you're doing. They're loving the lives, they're loving the fact that we alone are doing this kind of reporting and this kind of lobbying and pushing, and this kind of informing the Australian people, and this kind of actually holding these filthy maggot politicians to account. So many people now are very happy with what we're doing. And that's starting to show in the support that's coming in for the information we're giving, and the fact that now we've got so many people asking, what is this CDC? What is this CDC bill, which is now legislation? Why is it so dangerous? What have they done? What's going on? So this is where we need to be. And the more Australians that we get, and the more groups and organisations that share the Billboard Battalion lives and the posts that we do, the more people we're going to be able to engage in fighting back against these criminals, these murderers. That's what they are. They're criminals and killers. And I'll tell you something right now. We put up a whole heap of stuff yesterday, last night, the names of these people, and the Senate was a very, very different thing. We were in there today. The Senate was a very, very different animal today. There seems to be a bit of, I'm not sure what's happening there, but there was not the bubbly sort of banter and all the sort of stuff that they normally do. A lot of the politicians will look up at us and look away in shame. Then they look up again and they look away in shame because they know we're calling them out for killing people. And they know that we're bringing this to them. And the Australian people are starting to rally behind Billboard Battalion and say, well, what the hell's going on? We want to know. And we need to continually push them harder and harder and harder. So I wanted to touch on this Environmental Protection Agency bill. And one of the main demographics that this bill attacks is our farmers. One of the main things that it attacks. And would you believe, we try and talk to some of these farmer groups, don't want to know about it. New South Wales Farmers Federation, Victorian Farmers Federation. Brett Hosking hasn't even called me back. He said, oh yes, well, we'll have a meeting, we'll organise this. This is the very laws that they are creating to destroy our farmers. Tried a few times to get in touch with the new president of the National Farmers Federation, and we haven't had much success. So we're going to continue with that because this is the National Farmers Federation bread and butter. This is the very legislation that they would bring in to take out our farmers. This is its purpose, in amongst others, one of the primary targets of not only the CDC but the EPA bill. This is about targeting farmers. So therefore, we're going to continue to push them as well. We need to get more and more farmers to actually understand what's happening. And from my experience, the so-called farmer representative organisations have deliberately not warned their members about what's coming. Now, they know what's coming because I've told them. Billboard Battalion have been on their case for a long, long time. And they ridicule us, and they avoid us, and they dodge and weave. I can tell you there's a hell of a lot more happens behind the scenes than that to try and run us down, discredit us. But at the end of the day, the thing that passed the Senate yesterday, that is now, it's not a theory or anything else. It's not Wade and Billboard Battalion just going on about things that are not real. It is legislation. It passed yesterday through the Senate. Am I speaking a little bit too fast? Do you people maybe not understand English? The people who run these farmer organisations. And the people who also run the trade union movement. I'm here to tell you that your trade union leaders, they're selling you out. The members, the workers, they're selling you out every bit as much because they're joined by at the hip with the Labor Party. They're in the business of shutting you down, destroying your jobs, and it doesn't matter what job you've got, whether you're a small business, whether you're a large business, whether you work for somebody, whether you employ yourself, whether you're retired, whether you're living off the pension, it doesn't matter because they're coming after you. So every one of those organisations needs to switch on, and we need to share the hell out of this. Everything that comes along, watch Billboard Battalion, because we're going to be having strategies that we need as a last-ditch counter-attack to fight back for our country. If you look on our bus, for the last few years now, we've called it the Aussies Fight Back Tour. Well, that's what we're about. We're about fighting back because so many people have done nothing. They haven't wanted to know about it, showed no interest In fact, many people have tried to attack us, ridicule us, and everything else. Well, what we've said is 100% smack bang on the money, straight on target, and the time to respond is absolutely, definitely about 5 years ago. But we're at the point we are now. So we're in, it's game on, and if you don't get involved, then kiss your country and your family and everything you have goodbye. It's as simple as that. And once again, they now have put in place another part of the legislation to make this happen. I wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday. A number of politicians were very narky because the same as last year, we saw the government, the Labor Party, and in many cases with the support of the Greens, what they call guillotine through legislation. They shut down your representatives in Parliament, your representatives' right to speak to a bill, to put your case forward. The voters of Australia, the Labor Party hate voters, as do the Greens. They hate voters as well. So they shut down anyone's ability, or many of the politicians' ability, to speak against the bill that they got up yesterday, the CDC, the Centre for Disease Control. Because the Labor Party and the Greens are definitely not interested in democracy. They're not interested in you having a say as the Australian people. That's why they've set up a bill and now legislation so foreign powers can come and destroy your families, because they don't believe in you having rights. They don't believe in you being able to live in safety and peace. That's why they've done that. So it was very interesting that I told you about this guillotining thing where the government just shut down everybody's right. And now today, there was a thing put up by Senator David Pocock. He's from Canberra here. And they were talking about our veterans. And other than being a scumbag that David Pocock is for supporting the CDC bill, this bill, or this thing that he was talking about, I think supports our veterans, our military veterans who fought for our country. So, also Senator Shoebridge, he also wanted to speak about this. He's one of them green scumbags who helped to bring in the Australia death bill yesterday. And also Senator Bridget McKenzie from Nationals. Now they had a go and wanted to get this suspension of standing orders through to deal with this thing that the government's trying to do to attack our veterans. And this old dragon, Senator Katie Gallagher, for the government, minister for some crap. And anyway, so she got up and she said, in effect, how terrible it was that these people here tried to hijack this bill and didn't have the decency to come and talk to the government about what they wanted to do here, about getting this thing that the government wanted to do out of the way. And she was so offended, my words, that these people didn't follow process that's been in the Senate for decades. How disgusting it was. So I'm thinking to myself, hang on, you piece of crap, Katie Gallagher. What did you do yesterday? Where was your observing of years and years and years of decency, of respect? You piece of filth. So what you did was shut down people's right to speak and then force through, because you and these other loser Greens have the numbers, and I find it quite amazing that Shoebridge actually wants to have some sort of decency in here, parasite. So I think it's quite hypocritical, but this is standard of this place, this cesspit Senate. The Senate for destroying Australia. This is the hypocrisy. But Katie Gallagher, you're a piece of work, mate. You and the mother filth in the Labor Party. You don't like it when somebody else does something to you that you did to them. This is why Australia is stuffed. And this is why we are here to try and bring the information to the public, get the public to understand how things work here. Because if you understand how it works, and we can bring the information, then we can get people to understand what they're fighting against. And then we can construct an organised fight back. Something where you have some structure, where you have leadership, and where you have some capacity to push back against these people. Because you can't get people to fight in a war if they don't even know they're in one. And what the politicians and the media have done over years and years is bore the hell out of people. And both sides just lie their guts out. So therefore, people go, well, there's no point worrying about this because they're all liars. Well, I'm here to tell you, we do have power and we can do things. And it's about clearing the fog. It's about getting the Australian people to realise and understand what's being done to them and by who. And once we can make that clear, give people the knowledge. And that's what we're going to do more and more of. We're going to call these people out personally, their names, what they've done, how they've destroyed our country and they're selling out you, and how they're going to do that a hell of a lot more, and how dangerous this is. Then our last ditch effort is for the Australian people to come together into a fighting force that is prepared to fight for their very lives. And where we've gone so wrong for so long is we have had no structure. We've had no organisation. We've had no tactics. And we've got people who are just wandering around like Brown's cows, speaking, talking from the side, jabbering away, yakking on. Well, all those things, they might make you feel a bit okay at the time. It's like some sort of a sugar hit, a drug hit. It might make you feel all right at the time, but at the end of the day, you're worse off for it. So the only answer here is to have tactics, structure, some leadership, because that's what people are asking for. Every day, people are asking for, what can we do? What is the plan? What do we need to do? They don't get on there and go, how do we fight back, Wade? Do we all go and do just everything all over the place like Brown's cows? Do we go and be all organic and lovey-dovey and all that sort of stuff and just have parties everywhere? No. The serious people are asking the question, what are the strategies? What can we do to fight back? Well, we're building those numbers now, and we're putting together those strategies. And we do get a lot of people, and I know we get a lot of people who say, this building behind us, it is illegitimate, that those politicians are illegal. They say they are not lawful, they're fraudulent. And to all those people who say that, I agree with you. You are absolutely correct. But the problem we have is that we have a very, very short time frame. And as we just saw yesterday, the people in this parliament are making the laws and the legislation that are going to kill you and your families. They've given the foreign powers, and these are not foreign countries. These are foreign corporations. They've given them the power to take you out. So whichever way we look at it, the people in this building behind us are making the rules. And whether you call them the government or you don't or whatever, that's what's happening. And we've got many good people who are relying on the Australian Constitution to save us. But at the very same time, they sit and they tell us, well, this such and such is in breach of this section of the Constitution. That such and such is in breach of the Australian Constitution. A whole heap of other things are in breach of the Australian Constitution. Well then, listen to your own words. They are in breach, but they just keep doing it. So they've effectively garroted the Australian Constitution. And they have the other corrupt organisation known as the High Court. The High Court does not protect you anymore. Neither do any of the rest of them. So this is up to us, we the people. We need to focus not on what everybody's or so many people have been talking about, everything from this to that to God knows what. We need to focus on strategies, unity, strength, power, and organisation and tactics. Because there are certain things that are just facts. That's all there is to it. And you can talk about all the other stuff as much as you want, and if that's what makes you feel good, great. But that is not the answer. In addition to that, you must have a strategy, you must have something that can work. And that works on assessment of what the danger level is and what things can we do to defeat that. So I thank everybody for watching today. I thank everybody for coming on board, for all the shares, for all the support and the terrific words. We are working on things here to try and fix this. And as you can see, here in Canberra, yeah, it's Billboard Battalion. That's it. There's no one else here. No one else from the freedom movement, from the farming side of things, from the union movement. There's no one else here. We are it. We are bringing it to you. And most importantly, we are starting to bring it to them. And I'm here to tell you, they're bucking and they're squealing and they're sweating and they're starting to not like it. So we have an enormous amount of power. We the people. This is where it's at. So keep sharing the stuff that we're putting up. Keep watching. Be prepared very soon to do a lot that we need to do. We'll bring you the strategies. Once we get this sitting week out of the way, we'll keep reporting on the things that are happening and what we're doing here in Canberra. But then we're going to be coming up with the data and with the strategies that I believe have the best chance of working of anything, because so far, nothing has worked. Everybody, everything they've done, and some people have put in monumental efforts. But this lot behind us are not listening to you. They're just doing what they're doing. They're putting in place the legislation. We've had virtually no impact on what they are doing behind us. And although it is an illegitimate government, that's what we've got to work with. As people told me years ago, just remember this, Wade. The people in the room will make the decisions. That's why we're here. That's why we're inside. That's why we're putting the pressure on. Imagine if we had 100,000 people who were helping us put the pressure on. Well, we're starting to get there. We're starting to climb big numbers now because great Australians are listening to what we're saying and they're starting to understand and they're responding, which makes you very, very proud to be an Australian right now. All right, people. Not much to say more on this one. Go back, for those who haven't seen, have a look at the video we did last Tuesday on the wall charts, and that'll explain a hell of a lot as to why we're here, how we got here, who's responsible, where they want to go. Thanks very much, everyone. Wade Northhausen here from Parliament House in Canberra, Australian Capital Territory, Australia, for our international viewers. Today is Thursday, the 6th of November 2025. Thanks very much for everyone's support. Thank you.